Have you ever thought how you would respond if somebody came up and said, "Hey, Jesus needs our help"? Would you say, "I'm too young," or "I don't have anything that could help Jesus with"? What would you say? Well, one of the greatest stories from Jesus' life, it's told in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and it's even told in John chapter 6. Jesus feeds what we call the 5,000, and we are pretty sure that the crowd is even bigger than 5,000 because it says 5,000 men were there. So they just realized that this was far too large a crowd, and they were in a remote place and there wasn't any food to eat. And Philip was really concerned. What are we going to do? 8 months' wages can't get everything they need. And then Andrew walked up and said, here's a little boy. Here's a little boy, and he has some food. And I said, how much food does he have? And it said, well, he has 2 fish and 5 loaves. And probably you ought to think in terms of maybe like 5 biscuits and a couple of strips of beef jerky. That would be what it would be like for us. Well, as of course, the way everybody reacted, except Jesus, was, how is that going to make any difference to this big crowd? Well, you know the rest of the story. Jesus thanked God for it, he blessed it, and he began to pass it out. And of course, there was enough to not just feed everybody, but feed everybody until they were completely full. And then they gathered up leftovers enough for the disciples to take with them. Pretty amazing story. And we can focus on the amazing things that Jesus did, but I just today want to focus on the fact that there was a little boy, let's say he was 8 years old. There was a little boy whose mother or father had sent him along, and maybe he was with his family, who had a little bit of food with him. Now, I don't for a minute think that the disciples went out and said, hey, give me that. I don't think Jesus would have put up with that. So probably, I don't know how the little boy knew they were looking for something. Maybe the little boy just realized Jesus might need something to eat. And he said, could this help? He didn't think he was too young. He didn't know what somebody could do with what he had to offer. He knew it wasn't much, but he was willing to give it. So again, I kind of come back to that first question. If somebody said, Jesus needs our help, how would you respond? And I hope that maybe we can listen to that story and say, I'd do whatever I could. And then I would trust that Jesus would take whatever I would give him and turn it into something wonderful. I am thankful for each and every one of you who are kids in our Kids for Christ program, because you don't know how often I'm blessed by your greeting and your listening and you're coming up and visiting with me. And I know you think that may be a small gift, but it blesses me a great deal. I wonder what Jesus could do, what the Spirit could do, what God could do with whatever you choose to give to him, to offer to him, to bless others. And I hope that next time somebody says, I could use a little help, that you think, I wonder if helping them would be like helping God, helping Jesus. And give it to the best of your ability, no matter how small or how insignificant you think it might be. Hey, next week you hopefully have already heard that we're going to be getting back together at the building, and I hope that some of you are there with your moms because it will be Mother's Day, and I just want to plant a little seed. We're going to have something special for you to do with your mom if you're there with us next Sunday. And if you can't be, we'll do our best to get it to you as well.